Hey guys, if you're shopping for knives and gear, make sure you check out the description of the video you're watching right now for a link to my Amazon store where I've compiled some of the very best items available, including some of my own personal recommendations. Thanks! What's going on, YouTube? Metal Complex here, and welcome back to the weekly loot grind. This is a new series that I'm going to be doing every week. What is it? Well, I'm a Blade HQ affiliate, and what does that mean? Full disclosure, it means that if you use the links down in the description for any of the items shown here, it means that it benefits me in this channel. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that. Essentially, each week I go through and check out some interesting things on Blade HQ. Literally just stuff that I am looking through Blade HQ and just find interesting. There's no other motivation behind it. It just looks neat, and I wanted to share the information with you guys. There's expensive stuff, there's inexpensive stuff, there's stuff that's kind of ridiculous and crazy, and if nothing else, then it's just meant for your entertainment. Thank you so much to my generous patrons who are supporting me right now. If you'd like to check out Patreon, there is a link down in the description. Let's go ahead and get started here. Right off the bat, I have to point these out because as a Hinderer fan, I have heard this for years. People are saying, Rick Hinderer, please, we need a 3-inch XM18 that does not have a flipper tab. So whether you are new to Hinderer knives or you've been around for a while, the 3-inch without the flipper tab solves an enormous amount of issues. Number one, the whole issue with the flipper tab being pointy and uncomfortable, it's not even there, so no big deal. Number two, the detents on these are lightened up a little bit, so they're just right on the non-flippers. I have absolutely loved the non-flipper variants of the tri-ways, right? So these are easy to deploy with the thumb stud. Number three, because this is a smaller knife, if it did have the flipper tab, it creates an issue with the forward choil. There's not really enough room there. Without the forward choil, there is so much more handle room on this knife. And considering it is the smaller one at 7.125 inches overall, you can enjoy that nice little EDC size, but still get a full purchase on it. This version of this knife has been being asked for. Is that the right way to say it? People have been asking for this knife for a long time, and it is finally here. So I'm telling you guys, as far as Hinderer knives go, they do a run of things, and then they're available for a while, and then they're gone for a really long time. So if you are, if you've been looking for this knife, it's here. If you're new to Hinderers and you're like, what should I start with? This is a great one to start with. This will set a fantastic example. It is tri-way. They're 20 CV, right? These are amazing knives. Pick one of these up while you have a chance. Moving on here, another Hinderer knife that people have been waiting for. They have finally put the tri-way system on the Eclipse. So this is the first new run of tri-way Eclipses, and it also has a unique blade shape for the Eclipse. So all previous Harpoon Tantos that have been production have been fatties, meaning 187 thousandths on the XM18 frame. This is a Harpoon Tanto that is not a fatty, so 160 thousandths on the Eclipse frame. The Eclipse frame is a lot more comfortable than the XM18 frame for a lot of reasons. There's not that uncomfortable jimping in the landing zone on the back. The flipper tab, in my opinion, is a little bit better. The ergonomics, I think, are a little bit better. It's not quite the jimp festival that the other XM18s have been notorious for, right? This is a super good looking blade, absolutely. With the addition of the tri-way, it's a lot like the famous and very much missed by me ZT0392 Factory Custom Series, right? Now, the Hinderer version actually has the tri-way, and it has the steel lock bar insert. So again, if you have been waiting for them to put the tri-way on the Eclipse, it's available. If you're brand new to Hinderer knives, is this one a good one to start with? Yes, you have two fantastic examples. I cannot stress this enough. I know I sound like a salesman here, but seriously, as a Hinderer fan, these are great models to start with. All right, let's move on to the rest of it. Okay, so this is something that was brought up when I did the CJRB Feldspar video. The CJRB Feldspar is probably my favorite budget knife of all time. The standard version in G10 comes in at something like $38, which you can also find on Blade HQ. But somebody else pointed out, hey, they have these in micarta. They're a little bit more expensive, but it's totally worth it. This knife is totally worth it at $52.95. D2 runs on bearings, thumb stud opener, has great edge geometry, great ergonomics. It's contoured, countersunk steel liners, blah, 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 blah. This is a great knife. I wanted to point this out because it is a stupid good budget knife, and the addition of micarta, I think, will make a lot of people happy. Moving on here, this is one that just caught my eye. Medford is doing this interesting flame anno that is really like shiny and colorful. Some people don't like the colorful stuff, but this is a Proxima. It is a big, heavy-duty titanium frame lock flipper. This is a mid-tech knife, so it's a semi-custom. That's part of the reason for the price tag, and it's also made in the United States. CPM S35VN, and look at that anno work. That is crazy. Again, not everybody's going to like that, but if you've been, waiting to jump on a Medford knife and you're just looking for one that stands out, I think this one stood out to me. I think this is really cool, and from what I know about Medford knives and how vibrant they can be in person, I'm going to guess this is probably more impressive in person for somebody looking for a colorful, full titanium frame lock and looking for something that's massively overbuilt and kind of just crazy, right? Super good. And Medford knives have excellent quality. You're going to hear, some people are like, oh, in my opinion, I've handled a ton of Medford knives. I've handled a ton of knives in general. You can go back and take a look at what it is that sort of created the foundation for my opinions on a lot of knives. I've handled a lot of knives. I like Medford knives. I can see the quality. I think that this is really, really cool. Moving on here, did you guys know, and I can't remember if I put this in another Loot Grind episode, the Red Horse knives, oh my gosh, Red Horse Knife Works Hellraiser P. So the old Hellraiser was a semi-custom, and it was super expensive, full titanium. This is really, really cool looking. I mean, like, a blade shape like this is going to be good at some things and obviously not super great at others, but it's really cool. And this is still, I checked into this. I'm 99% sure that I'm correct. This is still made in the United States. S35VN, it looks like Contour G10, and I think it's a liner lock, might be a titanium frame lock. Yeah, it doesn't say on the screen. Yeah, no, I can see the other pictures there. This is a liner lock. 8.625 inches overall. You get that really cool razor blade. And then I'm going to guess it runs on bearings for 195 bucks. I thought that this was really cool, and I'm sure that a lot of people would like it if they just knew that it was available, so I wanted to point it out. Moving on here, this isn't a new knife, but the Kizer Laconico Gemini is one of my favorite, if not my very favorite Kizer knives ever, and I think some people would be happy to know that it is available in carbon fiber. So that's going to reduce the weight a little bit. Not to say that this knife was overly heavy to begin with, but this is one of those like quintessential EDC knives. 7.25 inches overall with a little over, it's like 3.125 inches on the cutting edge. CPM S35VN, and it's a flipper, nothing in the cutting path, fully flat ground. I mean, this is a great knife. 170 bucks. I think a lot of people would be happy with this. Moving on here, the Spyderco Delica 4 in Glowzome Green FRN. This is still a VG10 Delica, but the Delica itself is a legendary design. It is one of like the most famous EDC knives of all time. 100 bucks, it's a little bit high for VG10, but VG10 is still a decent steel. And I mean, it's going to be great for EDC. The geometry on this guy is going to better emphasize, how good it is at EDC over just the VG10 steel itself. But VG10 holds a decent edge. Right, it's decently tough, it's stainless, easy to sharpen, right? That's a good cake mix for EDC, but it glows. That's cool, right? Some people like that. I just wanted to point this out. Some people are really going to be attracted to this, and some people are going to think that it looks gross. But here it is. If you're interested, there'll be a link down in the description. Moving on here, this is one of the new Spydercos that we went over in the Spyderco release catalog here recently. The Spyderco Spy Opera and the brown canvas micarta, 2.88 inches of cutting edge or blade length, and M390. This is a lockback. It is, to me, it looks like it's sort of a gentleman's classy lockback Spyderco. Some people are really going to like this, some people aren't. I think this is a great little knife to bring, I guess, if you've got a special occasion, or if you're, I guess, going to a cocktail party, a wedding, or something like that. This is going to be a less intimidating knife, given that it is a classic lockback, but you still get to enjoy the brown canvas micarta and the M390 steel. This looks pretty cool. Figured you guys would want to see it. Moving on here, this isn't the most expensive. So sometimes I'm like, what's the most expensive? And then insert whatever category knife on Blade HQ. This isn't the most expensive, but I pulled up, folding knives that are listed from most expensive and down. And I just scrolled down a little bit and found this ridiculous Beg Osteo Custom with the skull engraving. So I have actually reviewed one of these knives, and they are amazing. I know that for every 1,000 people that watches this video, maybe one person would be slightly interested in spending this much money on a knife. But boy, if you're going to do it, a Beg Custom is, that's a good place to do it. There's a lot of people, as far as people who actually collect these mega ultra high-end customs, they'll tell you Beg Customs generally are going to, help out with the whole justification of the money spent. Obviously, you don't need to spend this much money to get a quality knife. But again, for people looking for customs, this one stood out. The skull engraving, I mean, they don't make a ton of these, right? So if you're looking for an osteo, you're looking for something really, really insane, and perhaps you're actually going to use it, this might be a good one because it's in RWL 34 steel, which is a stupid good EDC steel. Basically, the same type of performance as CPM 154, which is my very favorite EDC steel of all time. So that's really cool. Moving on here, I thought, what's the most expensive fixed blade on the website? And I looked it up, and I didn't like how it looked. So I went one down. They're both of the most expensive fixed blades on the website are Rockstead knives. I mean, of course, right? This is a $3,610 Rockstead fixed blade. I don't know anything about this. The UN ZDP blade, I'm going to guess it has that sort of gunmetal mirror polishing on it that Rocksteads generally do. Yeah, this is pretty insane. Again, there's not a lot of people out there who collect like mega, custom fixed blades, but this was interesting. I think for the most part, this is just going to be something like, that's neat that exists. Moving on. But I thought you guys would want to take a look. Moving on here, what's the least expensive folding knife on the website? I thought, well, if I'm going to talk about the most expensive knives on the website, I might as well look up the least expensive. So here it is. The Pocket Razor Survival Tool Utility Knife, lime green, USA. Maybe it's made in the USA. Maybe that's just part of the title. I don't know. I mean, it looks like a halfway decent object that can cut. And it looks like you can just put, I think, replaceable razor blades in it. It's $2.50. So there you go. Knock yourself out. I know it's June, but I guess if you're looking 6 months ahead for stocking stuffer ideas, there you go. I don't know. I was curious. I was like, well, what's the least expensive thing? So here it is. Moving on here, what is the most expensive OTF on the website? The Marfione Custom Ultratech Warhound OTF automatic knife. It says Bowler M390. This is weird, guys. On super high-end custom automatic, like side openers and OTFs, oftentimes they will actually use stainless steel for the frame. And I know that sounds like, what? We're getting ripped. I don't know what that's all about, honestly, but I see that a lot. The Ultratech design in and of itself is one of, if not the very best OTF design out there. And this has the Warhound blade, which I think is exclusive to the Signature Series and up. So you're only going to see that blade on Signature Series knives, which are hand ground anyways, and then the Marfione custom knives, which are definitely hand ground. The entire knife is a custom knife, which is why it commands that price tag. But super cool. I know a few guys out there, shout out to Jeff, who collect stuff like this. So I figured somebody else might be looking for it. Moving on here, this is not a new knife at all. It's just sometimes it's available and sometimes it's not. I wanted to make you guys aware of this. The all-black Spyderco Paramilitary 2. This is if you're looking for a PM2 to customize, I feel like the all-black one is just a dream for customization because any hardware that you add to it, any custom hardware, which is plentiful now, it's very easy to get titanium anodized hardware for this thing, or if you're looking for like Flytanium scales, or you're looking for like, you want to put it in copper or what, copper, brass, titanium, carbon fiber, and then add some crazy hardware, right? The black ones, for whatever reason, really stand out when people customize them. So it's $165, which is a little pricey for a PM2, but this is still one of the very best EDC folding knives of all time. And if you were looking for an opportunity to just get the all-black one or get the all-black one and then customize it, here's your opportunity. Moving on here for not really the same reason, but just because the all-black Spyderco Paramilitary Para 3 lightweight is available. This is about the only FRN knife that I think I could stand to carry. If you don't know, I hate FRN. I know that it's strong. I know that it's just as strong, and in some cases, some people I think have proven that it's a little bit stronger than G10. Depends on, no, the bug out, the Grivery bug out scales, no. I guarantee I can snap those with one hand. Let's not get into that. Right? Because what are you going to be doing with a knife where, the structural integrity of the scales comes into question, right? So there you go. I ended the argument for you. But the way that this is put together is just really, really good. I think the Spyderco Para 3 Lightweight is the best FRN EDC design that's out there. Sorry, my AC's turning on, so we get to hear that. But yeah, it's probably the best one out there, and I think the all-black one looks pretty cool. So there you go. It's available. Check it out if you'd like. Moving on here, this is just something that I thought was interesting. It is the Hoffman Blacksmithing Mini Axe Bottle Opener in bronze alloy. It's probably an unsharpened little, it looks like a fireman's hatchet or axe, and it's a bottle opener, and it's made out of bronze. So there you go. If you wanted to carry an interesting item that you use to open bottles and is a conversation piece, which is probably exactly why I'd carry this, it's available. Looks like it's got a little lanyard hole or something you can put a keychain ring on and attach a suspension clip to. So just something that's neat. I figured you guys would like to see it. And then I think the very last item on the list, the Red Horse Knife Works Condor cutter. Why do they have the word cutter in there twice? It's a heavy quotes cigar cutter. Wink, wink. This is still pretty cool, right? I mean, yeah, it is a cigar cutter, and I know that people, you know, who are interested in folding knives and little EDC items like this are probably, you know, cigar enthusiasts or aficionados, whatever you want to say there. This is interesting. I know people like knucks and things like this, so I thought you guys might think it was pretty cool. As you can see there in one of the smaller images, it does sort of spread apart, and that's how you, one of those rings, or both of the rings, no, it looks like just one of the rings is how you operate the cutter, which is in the center. So that's pretty neat. It's pretty expensive, but this is titanium and it looks like carbon fiber, and again, it's just an interesting conversation piece. Guys, I think that's pretty much it for the loot grind this week. Let me know if you're enjoying this series. This is really fun, and of course, down in the comment section, if you pick something up, tell me what it was. I like to hear what you guys, you know, found interesting and actually decided, you know, you wanted for yourself. So yeah, let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do of course have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.